going to enjoy
Her
time.
next thing is to enjoy her time with her family. Yes. So we were respectful.
Tonight, a University of Washington lab tech and green card holder is free after spending 3 months detained by ICE. Good evening and welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Claudine Wong. Llewellyn Dixon's case has become a symbol in the West of President Trump's immigration crackdown. Her release today comes as the Trump administration appears to be ramping up efforts in its push for mass deportations. The White House has reportedly set a quota for immigration arrests at 3,000 each day. And the president's border czar has a warning out to sanctuary cities. We begin tonight's coverage of the president's crackdown in Tacoma, Washington. Fox 13's A.J. Javanel shows us how immigrant advocates are there celebrating a victory.
After months of isolation in this ICE detention facility, Llewellyn Dixon stepped out to hundreds of people cheering her on. It was family, it was friends. It was also strangers who have been fighting for her release ever since late February when she was detained at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The emotions were something that you could feel as we were standing just within a few inches of Dixon and her friends, her family, hugging. We did get a chance to speak to her briefly about what it was like inside the facility.
I can't believe that this day finally come.
Do you want to share? Is there anything you want to share about your time in detention?
It was horrific. It was awful. It is crowded, super crowded.
Union reps were also in attendance today. Their goal is to make sure that Dixon has a smooth transition back into her life. They have been fighting to make sure that she has a job to return to after her release. Dixon and her family said even though their fight is over, there are other people inside this detention facility who still need assistance, and they want to bring attention to that need. Reporting in Tacoma, I'm A.J. Janavel, Fox 13 News.
The Trump administration wants to see at least 3,000 immigration arrests being made each day. According to Axios, the goal was set last week during a meeting between Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. The move signals an increasingly aggressive approach to making arrests in non-border communities nationwide. The first week of President Trump's second term, ICE made around 1,000 arrests. And today, the Trump administration's border czar issued a stern and ominous warning to sanctuary cities harboring undocumented immigrants.
We're all over the country, in every neighborhood, in every city, and you're going to see an expansion of that. Like I just said, we're going to increase the teams greatly. So you're going to see more teams on the streets you've never seen before. If we can't find them in the community, we're going to find them at the work site. So we're going to flood the zone, and sanctuary cities will get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the neighborhoods, more worksite enforcement.
The president has taken repeated steps to cut off funding to sanctuary jurisdictions that do not adhere to his administration policies. Last month, a U.S. district judge in San Francisco issued a preliminary injunction against the administration's attempts to withhold federal grants from sanctuary cities. And more international students are now in danger of losing their legal status in the United States as the Trump administration escalates its crackdown on universities. It was a sweeping move, but with few details. The State Department now says it will aggressively revoke visas for some Chinese students, specifically those that they say have suspected ties to the Chinese government or who are studying certain sensitive fields. So far, the department has not said which fields are being targeted. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the policy on social media, causing widespread concern in academic circles, especially in California, where over 50,000 Chinese students are being educated. China is pushing back, saying the U.S. is using national security as a pretext to target students over ideology. The country insists that's a violation of the students' rights. University of California officials say these students are crucial to research, teaching, and the economy, bringing in nearly $900 million a year in tuition alone. And critics like former U.S. Ambassador to China, Gary Locke, call this move xenophobic and wrong and a betrayal of American values. The issue had students talking at UCLA today.
It's prayers going for my friends that are from China. It's really scary news, I guess.
I'm from Korea. I'm an international, but
I don't think it's going to be affecting me, my visa, too much because I'm graduating very soon. It's going to be a temporary measure, I guess. Yeah.
Educators warn the policy could spark a brain drain, pushing top minds away from U.S. universities and toward places like Germany and the U.K. In Arizona, the bodies of a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old have been found. Investigators say the bodies were discovered on Tuesday off of Highway 87, which is about 50 miles northeast of Scottsdale. They're calling this a homicide investigation as they work to determine the circumstances surrounding these deaths. The 18-year-old has been identified as Pandora Julesrud. The name of the 17-year-old has not yet been released. And investigators in Washington are searching for suspects after a mass shooting left 7 people hospitalized. This all happened yesterday at Harry Todd Park in the city of Lakewood, which is south of Tacoma. Local police say 3 of those victims were in critical condition, and there are currently no suspects in custody. Lakewood Police Sergeant Charles Porch says detectives believe gunfire erupted after an argument between 2 groups at the park escalated. It's still unclear how many possible shooters were involved or if they targeted the victims. Also in Washington, 10 protesters were in court today after being arrested on Saturday during a clash with police at Cal Anderson Park in Seattle. They were protesting an event called May Day USA, a Christian gathering that opponents say was anti-trans. Advocates for the protesters say officials declined to file charges today, but King County prosecutors say the police investigation is ongoing.
A situation like this, what prosecutors want to do is get as much video evidence as possible. And when you see the photos from City Hall and also Cal Anderson, you see almost everyone had their phones up. So we know there's a lot of video out there. There's also body-worn cameras that we want to see that too.
Prosecutors say police will have a week or 2 to get the evidence all together. Then King County prosecutors will decide whether or not to file charges. And a major marijuana bust in Nevada. Las Vegas police seized more than 800 pounds of marijuana, all from a home yesterday. That was along with boxes of plant-growing products. Authorities say black market marijuana is still a big problem in the Las Vegas Valley, despite being legal with dispensaries. Neighbors in the area say this is not the first time a drug bust has happened there.
This is the second house here in the neighborhood that was busted for that. And the first one was literally directly behind where I live, the street I live on. And I never suspected anything like that in this neighborhood. So it was surprising, of course.
Police say homeowners are allowed to grow 6 recreational plants per person, up to 12 plants total at home, if the property is more than 25 miles away from a licensed retailer. Well, cameras rolled in the middle of a terrifying scene in Arizona. Coming up, see how a police officer rushed to save a woman who was trapped inside of a burning car.
In weather, here's our live camera looking out towards San Francisco in the Bay Area. Parts of the West Coast will be heating up for tomorrow, and we'll have the update coming up.
Plus, talk about a shock to the system. Tonight, a Colorado woman is sharing how she survived a lightning strike.
Looked out the window, and then as soon as I looked back at my phone, like I just see my arms light up and all my arm hairs just stood up.
Newly released body cam video showing how a police officer in Goodyear, Arizona rushed to save a woman from a burning car. That car caught fire on Sunday morning after it had been involved in a multi-vehicle crash, and the officer broke a window. As flames started to take over the interior of that car, he was able to pull that trapped woman to safety, and then he used a fire extinguisher to put out the flames that was coming from the victim's hair. Now, that woman was taken into the hospital in critical condition, but she is expected to survive. And it was revealed later that she is the daughter of a Goodyear firefighter. Well, Smokey Robinson has filed a defamation lawsuit against 4 former housekeepers who have accused him of rape. In the filing, Robinson and his wife called the allegations fabricated. The women sparked a police investigation after they said the Motown music star repeatedly raped and sexually assaulted them when they worked for him between 2007 and 2024. They say his wife, Frances Robinson, enabled him and created an abusive workplace. Now, the suit filed by the Robinsons say the women vacationed with them, celebrated holidays with them, and says despite the couple's generosity, the women are seeking to enrich themselves. Well, today in Los Angeles, a judge declared the man accused of stalking actress Jennifer Aniston and crashing into her front gate is mentally incompetent to stand trial. This decision came after a second psychiatrist examined 48-year-old defendant Kimmy Wayne Carwile. Now, he's previously appeared in court with bare shoulders. He's actually wrapped there in a suicide prevention smock. Now, the suspect has pleaded not guilty and previously argued that he is competent and had asked for a second opinion. Well, after last week's first psychiatric opinion, the incompetence finding is temporary, which means the criminal process could get picked up again at a later date. All right, temperatures are climbing across the West. You're taking a live look now at Phoenix, where new action is being taken to protect vulnerable populations from this week's heat. And volunteers with the Salvation Army and Arizona Public Service workers are putting together heat relief kits for folks. The plan is to distribute those kits to people across the Phoenix Valley. Those kits are full of supplies to help people stay cool.
Drip drops, we provide water, we give them hygiene items like toothpaste, toothbrush, combs, deodorants, shampoo, and of course our resources for every unit in our valley.
And the Phoenix Valley has already seen triple-digit temperatures this week. So let's bring in KTVU Chief Meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who's been tracking the warm-up in the West. Mark?
Hi there, Claudia. And yes, some more triple digits showing up on the maps once again today. You can see some of those toasty temperatures out toward Phoenix, over 100 degrees. Las Vegas, 100. In fact, they have an extreme heat warning setting up the next couple days or so. Los Angeles, though, at least the airport, 69 degrees. And then some more heat out toward Northern California. Redding, 99 degrees earlier today. Heat advisories, as you can see, for portions of California, as you can also check out in portions of Oregon as well. So the Bay Area, we have this heat advisory for Friday. As you can see, all these areas, temperatures, there'll be a significant bounce in those readings for Friday. Friday is the hottest day of the week, and out and toward portions of Lake County here in Solano County, that advisory runs right on through Saturday as well. This was the scene in San Francisco today. Temperatures actually comfortable, mainly in the 60s, a little bit warmer compared to yesterday. In Seattle, those clouds kind of clearing on out, 69 degrees, but a bit of a cool down out there, at least compared to earlier in the week. And then in Phoenix, showing you some cloud cover, but still reaching triple-digit territory this afternoon with that sun cloud mix. In Phoenix for tomorrow, probably more sunshine than clouds. The temperature is a bit warmer. Could be approaching triple digits once again for your Friday. Current numbers out there right now, it's 96 degrees in Las Vegas. Reno's 81. The cool spots, as you can see on this map here, up toward Portland and Seattle, temperatures mainly in the 60s. So here's the satellite and the radar. Some high clouds kind of streaming into portions of Arizona. We showed you the cloud cover in that picture for Phoenix, but lots of clear skies for a good portion of California. Once again, just like yesterday, we have these showers and thunderstorms developing across the Rockies, some unstable air. There's even a chance of a few isolated showers for tomorrow. Here's kind of the game plan for tomorrow, though, for your Friday. Sunshine up in Seattle, a warmer day for the San Francisco Bay Area. We talked about the heat. Of course, it's hot in Phoenix, and a few clouds out toward the Denver area shaping up for the Friday forecast. And here we go with the clouds as we put this into motion, at least the forecast model, and into your Friday. Lots of sunshine out there, so we're going to clear things up for Seattle and Portland. Maybe a few clouds moving in later in the day. And in fact, by Saturday, there's a possibility of some rainfall up in the Pacific Northwest, but it looks like a fairly quiet weather pattern. And once again, that unsettled weather pattern continues out toward Denver for tomorrow. So here is the plan over the next few days. As you can see, San Francisco and Seattle back up into the 70s for tomorrow. 80s for Southern California, for at least for Los Angeles. Denver, temperatures in the 80s. And triple digits, as you can see, kind of a stretch for Friday and Saturday, and then definitely cooling things off for the second half of the weekend. So we're over in the next few days, we've been talking more about, at least over the past week or so, we've been talking more about heat, and just be extra careful in those areas that are extremely hot with those heat advisories in place.
All right, great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Well, Denver woman is sharing how she survived a lightning strike. Christina Vasquez was struck on Saturday while watching some stormy conditions through a window at home. The lightning hit a tree outside of her house. The electric current then traveled through the window and hit her.
I looked out the window, and then as soon as I looked back at my phone, like I just see my arms light up, and all my arm hairs just stood up. the guys from the ambulance, one of them said, "Oh my goodness, did you see that tree?" He's like, you are one in a million. You need to go buy a lottery ticket." And I looked at the tree and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm still shocked about it. I told my parents, see, I always knew I was electric.
Well, the National Weather Service says it is best to stay away from windows, concrete floors, and plumbing pipes during storms that are packed with lightning. Washington-based Microsoft says its use of artificial intelligence may revolutionize weather forecasting. Fox's Eben Brown shows us how the technology is already predicting some complex weather events.
How's your air quality? It's one of the questions we often ask before heading outside for the day. Your local forecast or your favorite weather app might tell you things like the air quality index or whether it's going to rain. But what if artificial intelligence could predict those things and warn you in advance?
This is everything from integrating observations of our environment to modeling and forecasting, as well as delivering products and services for everyday use.
Microsoft says its latest AI model, called Aurora, is accurately predicting not just the temperature and the wind chill factor, but weather events as complicated as hurricanes and typhoons. They even claim the forecasts outdid the National Hurricane Center's 5-day cyclone tracking, though forecasters stress it's not a competition.
The Weather Service is actively working on partnerships across the board to figure out how we can leverage that work.
Using artificial intelligence to help with meteorology isn't exactly new, but Microsoft plans to incorporate Aurora's work into the forecast algorithms on its MSN public portal, using it to offer forecasts that update hourly, which suggests they have high confidence in the AI's capabilities.
There's a lot of excitement out there about the potential for AI to support our forecasters and to support the delivery of not only the forecast information, but what that means to the consumers.
And it comes just in time for the start of hurricane season. NOAA predicts above average activity this year in the Atlantic. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Well, clock reset for United Airlines customers coming up, the new deadline for passengers to check in. And some people in Arizona say it's time to rethink what a typical neighborhood looks like. They say you can learn from their Agritopia.
It's been a little bit of an oasis.
Our version of a contemporary village that also focuses on urban agriculture.
United Airlines passengers will have new rules to follow in a few days. The airline says its new cutoff time to check in for domestic flights will be 45 minutes before departure. And this deadline is going to apply to everyone. That includes people who are only bringing carry-on bags. The check-in deadline for people checking bags is already at 45 minutes, but it is currently 30 minutes for people with carry-ons only. United says this new policy will bring greater consistency to its check-in process, and this change will take effect on Tuesday. A Southern California neighborhood devastated by wildfires got a major boost today. Developer Rick Caruso announced that he's going to pump $50 million of his own money into rebuilding Palisades Village. Flames ripped through that upscale shopping area in January, and it is expected to take about a year to get some of those businesses reopened. One new tenant has already signed on to that project.
Celebrate our pledge to energize and accelerate the building of Pacific Palisades, the 90272, as my team and I join forces with the Caruso team to bring back the magic that once was and will be again.
If you have a partner, whether it's a retailer or a restaurateur, that believes in the future of a community, that's committed not only to great commerce but great community, you create a powerful partnership. And that's what we've created today.
Caruso says he's also working to help redesign and bring investment to downtown Altadena, where the Eden fire caused widespread damage. And as peak fire season is coming up in California, federal officials are looking to restructure wildfire agencies. The U.S. Forest Service currently has the largest share of responsibility for fighting wildland fires on federal land. But there are 4 other agencies dividing those duties. And there's debate underway about combining all of those responsibilities into a single federal wildland fire service under the U.S. Interior Department. We spoke with Mark DeVoe, former FEMA coordinator, about that potential merger.
The challenge becomes that so many different agencies and the bureaucracy is so great at times. It's hard to move that ship in the direction that you need it to go as quickly as you need it to go. So it's encouraging that this is a bipartisan effort, that they want to take a look at how we can structure the federal government to be more effective and more efficient.
If a merger moves forward, it would be the biggest reorganization in decades. Republican leaders in Nevada are trying to research alternatives to bringing gasoline and diesel fuel in from California. An emergency bill was introduced on Monday by GOP State Senate leader Robin Titus. It would create an 11-person panel to develop a report on Nevada's reliance on California fuels, which currently make up 88% of its daily use of gas and diesel. Now, that report would be submitted in time for the 2027 legislative session. Titus said that this bill is an effort to help Nevada access affordable and reliable energy. Well, a growing neighborhood in Arizona shows bringing farms to front doors can be a success. Fox's Chris DeMeo shows us how this sustainable way of living works in Gilbert, southeast of Phoenix.
With scientists raising more red flags about the ongoing negative impacts of human-caused climate change, a unique type of community is focusing on increasing sustainable living by bringing farms right to people's front doors.
It's been a little bit of an oasis.
On the outskirts of Phoenix, Arizona lies Agritopia. It's a type of agrihood, a residential community centered around farmland.
Agritopia is our version of a contemporary village that also focuses on urban agriculture.
Joe Johnston is the founder. He watched over the years as plots surrounding his family farm were turned into neighborhoods. Wanting to preserve what he could, Johnston designed his own community with homes walking distance from bars, shops, and other amenities, but with his farm right at the center of it all.
Create what we thought was the best version of village life.
While residents don't have to work on the farm, they can get first picks of different produce before it's sold at nearby markets and donated to a local food pantry.
You can actually get produce from your own neighborhood, and also I think people enjoy the aesthetic of it.
Previous data from the Urban Land Institute found agrihoods existed in at least 27 U.S. states and Canadian provinces as of 2018. Real estate experts say these listings attract people wanting a mix of both urban and rural life.
The desire to care for our local farmers, eat food that is good for our bodies, and then do that in our neighborhood, hugely of value to our family.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And of course, you can stay up to date on all of the stories that we're covering online. All you have to do is go to westcoastwrap.com, and you can stream all of our shows on your smart TV, also on your phone, by just downloading the Fox Local app. We'll leave you with this beautiful picture of the San Francisco Bay. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.